Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mute Your Lines. Again, I am Laura McCart from the Early Careers team, and I'm super excited to take a look inside of our own Early Career Regional Lead team, highlighting some of the work that we're doing across different locations in the U.S. and globally. So our first episode featuring the Early Careers group and the Regional Lead team, I have three pals with me from our team here representing two locations, Minnesota and North Carolina, Tennessee, Arizona for Tanya. So three locations in one for Tanya here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take some time and learn a little bit about their career journey and how they got to where they are today. I want to really start off this piece with brief introductions, and for, again, the interns here that are tuned in, we have the Early Careers team, and I think one piece that is super special about the programs that we do have is that we don't only have this centralized team when we all come together, but we are dispersed across 3-4 different time zones from, the West Coast all the way over to Ireland, and we work together, come up with this centralized strategy, and then we're able to support as boots on the ground at all these locations, and I think that's super unique, and I think that's the one thing that I wanted to bring us together here, because we don't get that experience this summer. We're not able to provide that experience this summer for our interns, but I think it's important to still highlight the amazing stuff that we do and the programming and experience that we provide, not only in this new virtual space, but also when we are all together at our sites and the communities that we create. So again, we have a great team of regional leads, 3 of them with us now. And we'll start with Jane. We'll start with you here. What's your typical non-virtual in-person role on this team?
Yeah, so I will just start with a brief overview of what my role is, and I'll kind of get into what the day-to-day looks like in a non-virtual environment. So I am the regional lead in Minnesota alongside Kelsey. So we have different programs within Minnesota that I support. So that would include marketing, finance, accounting, consulting, and our grad program. So I've been at the enterprise for a little over 5 years, and in this role specifically, I partner really closely with our program leads to ensure the individuals within their programs feel inspired and connected and supported throughout their time with us in early careers. So pre-virtual experiences working-wise, at this time in the summer, it is my days are probably 10 to 12 hours long, especially during the summer, getting to work, the crack of dawn and leaving, around 5 o'clock. So it could be from packing backpacks, getting equipment ready, partnering with people to get certain speaker series lined up, and then connecting with the interns in person, having lunches, grabbing coffee, all of those things. So the summer has been really interesting, and how can we make those experiences virtual? Can I still have coffee chats with people? Of course, yeah. Bring your coffee that you made from your pot in your kitchen and bring it to your desk and let's connect. So, again, kind of just translating those in-person experiences to a virtual environment.
So Jane, one of our regional leads in Minnesota, supporting a number of programs for full-time interns, alumni, and then we have her partner in crime here, Kelsey. And so Kelsey, can you talk to us a little bit about what your specific role looks like as a part of the Early Careers team?
Yeah, so I would say it's very similar to Jane's in that I'm a regional lead in Minnesota. I support the TDP program. So, really here to do all the things that Jane talked about. You're here to support, inspire, and plan events and activities to really get these interns and TDPers engaged and, feeling part of the culture at Optum.
Awesome. And last but not least for this question, Tanya.
Yeah, so I would have to say that, it starts after the interns leave. So after the interns leave, we start to get into our recruiting season. And then I am responsible for, just making sure that I have the right number of people going out and a diverse number and group of people going out to each school to recruit, and building those connections and having a connection with my talent acquisition partner, who's Crystal Gray. So making that connection with her, along with my site lead, Ryan Tyler. So we have a group of individuals in Raleigh that, kind of I lean on too for support, and that's our Raleigh and Arizona as well, their TDP leadership team, as we call them. But alongside TDP, I also support NAF, which is our high school engagement. And we are just about to bring on 33 high school rising seniors. So I am super excited to see how we can, as an organization, help them learn something new, to be able to go back to school, to high school, to use the frameworks that we are introducing to U.S. interns back to their high school. So I have a passion for that. And as Lauren was saying, I do support the North Carolina, Arizona, and Tennessee market. So I do have 3 markets, but, each one of those markets are unique. And, they help me to be unique.
So we have an early careers program team, and we really support all of the different businesses across Optum that hire folks like you, interns, recent college graduates, partnerships with high school programs. And then on the flip side, we partner with leaders within those different businesses to provide different opportunities to, open up in different roles, so full-time roles, new internship opportunities, to work with new teams. So just know that depending upon where you sit, you may be a part of one program within that greater scope of early careers. So Tanya is, one thing that makes her really unique is the program that's within North Carolina where she sits is technology development program. So that office is very specific to Optum technology, which again is one part of greater Optum. So her focus really is around supporting technologists in that program, even though she's a part of the early careers team, right? So she's able to take all the insights that we have as a centralized early career team and then partner with the different businesses to drive those initiatives there for her site. Or you could sit in a site where we have a ton of different programs like Minnesota. And I think, moving into kind of our next question is, Jane, I'll throw this your way because you are one of the regional leads that has the exposure and all of the different programs that are across a big location, our largest early careers location. So, one thing that I wanted to talk about here is talk a little bit, Jane, about what makes that unique.
Yeah, I'm glad that you posed that question because I think that one thing I really want to call out too is our team is still pretty new. With the amount of programs that we have, I think is really stellar. And, we've gotten a lot of that leadership buy-in from various groups, and we are continuing to evolve. Within this team, I think we're coming up on like our 2-year mark. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren, but I think that that's an awesome achievement that we've made to date. So I would say that there's a lot of planning and implementation to be made, but I think that we've really, started off on a great foot for sure.
So T, can you tell us just a little bit about what your career path has been that leads you to working with the early careers team today?
Oh my goodness. I started my journey with this amazing organization in Greenville, South Carolina, a very small Optum office in South Carolina. And I worked as a BSL, so a business systems liaison. So I would onboard like new hires, and I loved doing that. It was very fulfilling. I got to meet new people. I also helped to run the office there, almost like an office manager. So it was really cool. And so my job had shifted a little bit. And through that shift, I was asked to help support an amazing leader, Donna McCart. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just want to do a good job. And it was funny because one of the individuals who I had to onboard was Lauren. You know, my focus was just to make sure that I was being of service to anybody that I had come into contact with. So what led me here was that Raleigh opened up. So the Raleigh site is a new site. We opened up 3 years ago, and you know, my manager at the time was like, hey, we need somebody to help open up the Raleigh office. And I was like, okay, I'll go. And so my family moved to Raleigh, and there was an opening for a technology development specialist. So we were called specialists at the time, before we were called regional leads. And I said, oh my goodness, should I go for this job? I had someone, by the name of Simon Free, and Simon said, Tanya, you need to apply to this position. You're already doing the work. You might as well apply for it. So I did. I called Donna because that was the right thing to do. And I explained to her that I was going to apply, for a job. And she said, oh, no, you are not leaving. What do I have to do? And I was like, Donna, but I'm going to under Rick Target, TDP. And she was like, okay, let me get on the phone. I'm going to call Rick. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope that I did a good job, that she can be an advocate for me. And without my amazing, the amazing leaders that I had supported in the past, I probably wouldn't be here today.
I love that story, and it's so funny. You've shifted so many roles, and I think, Jane, do you want to go next here and tell us a little bit about how you got to this job with the Early Careers team?
Yeah, I'd love to. So when I was in college, I went to St. Cloud State University, which is about an hour north of the Twin Cities. I actually went to college for nursing, and when I realized I am really not good at math and I never would want to be good at math, I decided to go into business and communication studies. I'm very passionate about that. And when I was in college, I actually worked for our university's career center. And so what I did there was I helped individuals edit their resumes. I conducted mock interviews, and I really had a passion for assisting students with helping them career path themselves. So when I graduated from school in May of 2014, I was kind of at a loss. I was like, okay, what am I going to do next? I'm done with school for now. I plan to go back for my master's eventually, but I'm not there yet. I'm already in a ton of student loan debt, thanks to a study abroad experience. But yep. I really had to do a lot of reflection, So I spent the summer kind of traveling, and I was working as an intern at the K through 8 school that I went to, and I was an event coordinator with the youth group there. And I was able to use that as a way to kind of network with the parents of the students at that school. And I started up the conversation with a family friend that I've known for years, and he actually works for UHG. And he asked me how my applications were coming along, and I just had the hardest time, interviewing for whatever reason. Nothing really stuck to me. I had 8 interviews that week, and I was just feeling really, really defeated. And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I really want to be in recruiting or early careers because of my experience at the Career Center and, networking with different corporations that would come in for interviews. And he's like, hey, I think I can get you someone. And, there's this great talent acquisition team that works for Unite Health Group, and I think you'd be a really good fit. You should apply. And I did, and I started that December. So I think that even though I went to school to be a nurse, I had to pivot, right? Because I knew that it wasn't a great fit for me at that time. And I still ended up doing something that I love, which is, you know, early careers and helping people get into roles that they want within healthcare. So even though I'm not a nurse, I'm still part of creating an impact to the health system by hiring and assisting, you know, individuals that are starting their career out and really finding that top talent. So I'm really, really grateful for that experience and that networking opportunity, because I've never wanted to leave. I love this organization, and it's been really fulfilling for me and rewarding. So
I love that. And we'll close out our career pathing discussion here with Kelsey. So what led you to this role with us on the early careers team?
Yeah, it's just crazy how Jane just talked about the full circle, because I also started as a BSL similar to Tanya, and that was just over 10 years ago. So throughout the time, the role I was in, I was hired to centralize the onboarding for, at that time, Ingenix Consulting executives. And from there, I was able to build a program, and then the team grew. We gained a leader, and we built the onboarding program, which many of you know today as the Optum onboarding team. So throughout my time, I was an onboarding specialist. I then led the team, so I think I had 8 onboarding specialists on my team, in that I got to be part of the very beginning of TDP. So my team onboarded the first group of TDPers. And so it's just kind of crazy to me how, you know, you work through all those years, and now 10 years later, here I am back on the team supporting TDP. So yeah, anyway, from there, I moved into a project manager role, leading the Employee Community Council program for Optum, and then into this role as a project manager for the early careers team.
What's your favorite part about walking through those doors, whether it's at Circle or in Raleigh, Tanya, or if it's logging in when you're sitting in your living room over the last couple of months? What's your favorite part about you know, walking through those doors every day or starting your work day? And Tanya, we'll start with you. What's your favorite part?
Yeah, so although I tell people this all the time, so although I am not a technologist, I'm not a developer, just knowing that I still play a role in helping the healthcare system work for everyone, you know, drives me to, you know, want to make sure that I am doing my part in this whole big scheme of healthcare, right? So that's what drives me. Another thing that drives me is the connections that I have at the sites that I support. So, you know, just even if it's, you know, connecting with individuals in Arizona, I'm still able to, you know, connect with them virtually to see how things are going, to, you know, I always try to make people laugh. So to see, you know, a smile on their face, even though things aren't, you know, as they were, you know, last year, and that we're all virtual, but, you know, just knowing that I can make a difference is what drives me.
I love that. I love that, making a difference and just the impact that you have on the healthcare system. I love that, T. And I'll flip it. Kelsey, what is your favorite part about coming to work every day?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely the relationships I've built. I mean, you know, when you've been somewhere for 10 years, which is the longest I've been in any job, I don't know, there's just this really cool feeling of like when somebody reaches out, especially now in this like virtual environment, somebody reaches out that you used to work with. So on you know, I have great relationships with the people on the onboarding team and on my previous team, and I just love to hear from them, you know, to schedule a quick chat with them, to catch up, to talk about Real Housewives, you know, whatever it might be. Just that, you know, it's like your friends, it means a lot to be able to log in every day and know that, regardless, like I said, of this virtual environment, there's still people out there that, you're connecting with.
I love it. I love the people connection too. And last year, Jane, finish us off. What is your favorite part of coming to work every day?
Yeah, I would say walking through the door at our corporate offices, I am just immediately inspired by the busyness and the constant changes in our organization. And truly, within our group specifically, it's really observing and giving momentum to our early career individuals who are new to the organization, and really watching them grow and continuing to have those relationships is super rewarding and fulfilling for me.
Awesome. And Jane, finish us off here. If you have one word to say to the interns, advice, what would you say for the rest of their summer?
I know they've heard it from me once, and I'll say it again, but continue to be curious, because once your curiosity dies down, the momentum will stop. So just continue to keep focused on your goals and really keep an open mind to new things and say yes to everything.
I love it. And Kelsey, same question for you. Word of advice.
Network. And I know they've heard that several times. They're probably rolling their eyes right now, but I can't tell you enough how much it will help you in your future. The more contacts you have, coming back into, the professional world, if you will, the better off you'll be. It never hurts to know somebody, or have connections in a company that you are interested in coming back to.
I love that. And Tanya, last but not least, again, close us out here.
Yes, I want them to be them, to show up every day being you, be your authentic self, because that's what's going to help drive and change healthcare. Don't change for anybody. You're here because of who you are. So we want you to continue to be who you are.
I love that. And for everybody tuning in, the work that our team does, this internship, this podcast, this recording, it doesn't happen without Tanya, Kelsey, and Jane. It just doesn't happen. They are absolutely the oil, the fuel that makes this engine run, and it genuinely takes a village. And so Jane, Kelsey, Tanya, I want to end us here with a huge, and I hope you guys feel it, I'm super thankful to have you guys a part of this team. We genuinely could not do it without you. Everything that you've done in this virtual world, it has just amplified the experience and has made me incredibly excited to continue to build off of the great work we do. So, thank you guys for taking time. I know you guys are so busy. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today and help the interns get to know you just a little bit better. Thanks, everyone. This ends our next episode 3 of Mute Your Lines, this one featuring my fantastic partners on the Early Careers team. Special thank you to Jane Stickney, Kelsey Broomer, and Tanya Hughley-McKenzie, again, representing some of our locations as a part of the Early Careers program. As always, if you need anything, have any questions, have any ideas for content or topics or things you want to hear, please reach out to me at Lauren_McCart@Optum.com or our Early Careers inbox at early_careers@Optum.com. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later and have a great one.